Hi, everyone. All right. So, good afternoon, everyone. It's 12:30 p.m. and it's a wonderful Tuesday on the 2nd of August, and it's our second day of WAO Fest 2.0, which is super exciting. We have talks today, we have talks tomorrow with the executive director, and there's more other talks that you guys can join in. So we'd like to just firstly say thank you for joining in right now. If you guys are having lunch, I hope you guys are having a good lunch, and if you're not, thank you so much still. And so before we start, I'd just like to remind everyone to firstly turn off your cameras and please have it all on mute all the time. And we will be having a Q&A session at the end of it around 12:50. So you can type in your questions now or then if you'd like to, and we can ask them around. And please be informed that we are on live stream on our Facebook, and this will be also recorded for YouTube purposes. So yeah. And so because today's topic is about women in leadership, I'd like to firstly share a quote for today, and that is, "Women belong in all places where decisions are being made. It shouldn't be that women are the exception." And that's Ruth Bader Ginsburg, who we also know as RBG. So now let's move on to our topic for today, that is women in leadership. And I'm so excited to talk about today's topic. I'm going to be talking to someone that I admired before knowing that she was actually the nominated and selected president of WAO this year. And after getting to know her, she is just as wonderful and even beyond. And so that is Sharmila Ravindran, and we also call her Sharm. And so she has graduated from the University of London and was an advocate and solicitor of the High Court of Malaya, admitted in 2004 and is one until now. She is also an accredited educator with the Asian International Arbitration Center and a member of the disciplinary committee. And she established her own law firm in 2011, that is Ravindran Advocate Solicitors in Kuala Lumpur, where she does all different ranges of laws. And she is also one of the founding members of Lean in Malaysia and is currently an advisor on the board of Lean in Malaysia. And besides that, she is also the chairperson of the Gender Equality and Diversity Committee under the Kuala Lumpur Bar Committee. And finally, she is the WAO president. And so I like to say, welcome to Sharm.
Hi, everyone. Hi, thank you for being here today. I just want to clarify one thing, though. I'm not the current chair for the Gender Equality and Diversity Committee. I was the chair in 2018 for 2 terms. So 2018 to 2020. Yeah.
My apologies.
Just clarifying. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, so you're still in the committee though, right?
I'm a member, but I'm not the chair anymore. Yeah.
All right. So how are you, Sharm, today?
Okay, not too bad. Very excited to be here and looking forward to this session with you, Yasmin.
Okay, thank you so much, and I'm looking forward as well. So, firstly, would you like to share anything else about your background? Share anything that you want within, your leadership and what you've gone through.
I think you've done an amazing job explaining my background, so I won't go into what I've done. But I think I'm very excited to be here. Very excited to be the president of Women's Aid organization. I have really huge shoes to fill, but my vision really at this point is really to make WAO accessible to more members. We want to be more inclusive. We want younger people, new people, so we have new ideas going into the next 40 years of WAO's, the work that we do. We want to be relevant in the years that come, and the only way for us to do that is to embrace new people, new ideas, and plans moving forward. Yeah, thank you.
All right. So, you've started volunteering, and I think you've established Lean In previously, and so volunteering is something that's not everyone does volunteering. So would you mind sharing your journey on volunteering?
Yeah, sure. So I started actually volunteering when I was in college. So what I used to do I'm from Seremban, so I used to over the weekends, the bunch of us friends, we would go to old folks' homes. we'd go to the orphanages in Seremban, and we'd, basically help out around the orphanage or the old folks home. We'd bring food for them. We just spend time with, the people there. And it became something that my mom actually taught me to do from a very young age. And so even while I was reading law, I knew that that was something that I always wanted to do with my life, which is volunteer work. Of course, as legal practice went on, and it was a really busy career for me. It still is. So it kind of went on the back burner because I was just trying to pursue a career. I was trying to make a name for myself. I was trying to figure out myself in my early 20s. What happened was everything came full circle for me in 2010. I set up my law firm in 2011. Prior to that, I was in employment with several other law firms. 2011, I set up my own firm as a sole proprietor, and it was an exciting first year. But then in the second year of my own, having my own law firm, I felt that there was something I should be doing for other people, right? So 2010, 2011 was when I was introduced to this amazing bunch of women who are now my sisters, my lean-in sisters. There was a bunch of us, 10 of us, who got together, and we decided under lean-in we would have a conference for women. And our focus, because we were all women in corporate from different industries, we wanted to focus on women in Malaysia, corporate women in Malaysia. And the problem at that point, and still is, really women coming back into the workforce in Malaysia. So we have a lot of women starting careers in Malaysia, corporate Malaysia, but eventually in their third or fourth year, they drop out because they get married, and then they don't have sufficient support at home. And so we were really trying to tap into that pipeline and try and assist and support these women who wanted to come back into the workforce after their children were settled, after their parents were settled. And so my journey with volunteering with women started around 2010. 2011 was when Lean in Malaysia was set up. And, it has been an amazing journey. From there, I then went into KLBA committee. And what happened was, Go Siulin, our first KLBA chair, woman KLBA chair in the history of KLBA, approached me and said, look, I've created the Gender Equality and Diversity Committee under KLBA, and I want you to come in and help us. So I was then co-opted in, and that journey has been amazing as well, because the focus then kind of narrowed into women lawyers in the industry, the issues that women lawyers face as practitioners, legal practitioners. So I did that for a couple of years, and then I started volunteering with WAO as well. What I offered WAO at that point, Sumitra, was that I offered her my legal services, my firm's legal services, so that basically told her, if you need legal consultation as an organization, you need us to look at opinions, you need us to do disputes for you, I'm offering my time to WAO. And so we started looking into governance and processes and disputes or whatever it is that was happening, right? And from there, then it was a very natural progression into being asked to stand as president, or for the elections as president. So that's my volunteer journey so far.
Wow, that's lovely. Especially you having so much vision for helping out in the community. And we'd also just like to say hi to all the Facebook people, because we've been saying hi to everyone, but we just wanted to include them as well. And so thank you for sharing your journey. I think it's, like I said, it's amazing that you wanted to help these women, and especially our community. It's the fact that you understand what we need, or what we see, the troubles in our community, and how we can help them. And so that goes to my second question, and that is, what is your vision for the community when you found out all these things, and what is the vision that you have for yourself, as a leader, after doing all this?
So I think for me, the reason why I decided to focus on women is because I saw a huge gap, a huge need in terms of the issues that I was facing personally at the workplace, right? Unconscious bias, inequality, discrimination, harassment, etc. And I realized that I wasn't the only one that was facing these issues. As I explored a little bit more and spoke to people from other industries, I realized that it was actually happening in other industries as well outside of legal. So then it dawned on me that it's actually a cultural thing. So I mean, for me, the vision really is, I believe that we have done a lot in the last couple of years. We have the anti-stalking laws right now. We have the anti-sexual harassment laws. There have been amendments to the Employment Act to recognize sexual harassment as an offense. So there's been progress in that sense. What we really need to look into now is enforcing how do we enforce these laws that are in place? How do we educate the community? We can have these laws in place, but are people aware of the consequences, the repercussions? We got to go back to basics, teaching people things like principles and values. And, these are things that are natural. You treat people equally, you don't discriminate. And so that we got to go back to the grassroots. We've got to go back to teaching these things in school, in our education systems have to be improved so that this is part of the syllabus, right? So I feel there's a lot of work to be done in that sphere, because I mean, I started volunteering, I say 2010, 2011. And sometimes until today, 13, 14 years later, I still need to explain to people. People still come to me and say, I don't know what you're talking about. There's no such thing as discrimination. Show me where it is, So then I have to take on the role of going and pulling out the data and the research and Googling. And I'm thinking, hang on a second, that is not my job. If you wanted answers, the answers are readily available and you need to make that step. So people need to be made aware that information is available, and that information, you should be going and reading that and educating yourself as well.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, that's I agree with that. So, a lot of going through and coming back to you mentioning just now that, people ask you, there's no discrimination here and such. And so I'm sure as a woman, especially being a leader itself, there will be times where you go through challenges, and there will be times where you feel like maybe you want to give up. And I think a lot of the younger generations nowadays, especially at, once they start working, they feel that way, and they feel like, what are they going to do next? What's going to happen? So my question is actually, what challenges did you yourself feel like you went through that was, one of the tough times? And at the same time, what did you have to do to overcome this?
Oh my goodness. So I think I feel like if I look back at my life, every stage of it was a challenge. Nothing was served to me on a platter. I think my mother was a single parent. She was a government servant. She put me through law school on a government servant's salary, right? So I didn't have I had a great childhood. There was nothing lacking in it in that sense. I grew up in Seremban. I had an amazing support system. I grew up with my grandparents. I had aunties and uncles. So I had an army of people. And so maybe that's where my values and my principles and, I was taught those things at a very young age. And, but it has not been easy. What has driven me is a sense of curiosity and a deep desire to succeed. I really love it when people underestimate me, because I love being the underdog, because all my life I've been told, nah, that's too big an ambition for you. You should just do this. You should be, you don't need to be so ambitious. You're a woman, so all you need to do is get married and, let your husband take care of you. I've had people say this to me. But I think for me, the deep desire to succeed and to chart my own course has been my focal point, and that has really driven me all these years. So every level, for me to pinpoint on one incident is extremely difficult. The challenges have come personally, professionally, all the way. So I think the trick is really to know what exactly it is that you want for yourself, and have confidence enough and faith enough that you will see yourself through it. Yeah.
Okay, that's amazing. I mean, hearing about your mother as well, I think your mother is amazing as well for raising you, and yeah, it's
She is
yeah.
something else.
Yeah, I agree. And so, I go on to the next question with challenges that you've mentioned, and I understand that, challenges come all the time. I guess we all go through challenges all the time, and it's really how you pull yourself together every time, there's like a roller coaster and it goes up and down. And so, another question that comes through challenges is sometimes people say, since you're in the legal industry, that the legal industry is a male-centric place. And what do you really think about this, especially you helping out everyone and, your years of practice and everything?
I For me personally, I'll speak for myself because other women lawyers might not agree with me. But yes, for me, it's a male. I find it to be a male centric industry. We have a lot of women coming into legal practice as young lawyers, but the industry itself, if you look at the statistics, you look at the numbers, we lose a lot of women lawyers in their third or fourth year of practice. So we've had polls we have run polls. I think IBA ran a poll and to find out exactly why are we losing this talent? Why are we losing these women lawyers in their third or fourth year or fifth year of practice? And it turns out that there are issues. The industry has issues, right? So, and I have also faced those issues personally as well. So the unconscious bias, the harassment, the bullying, the nature of the work itself can be quite strenuous. And I also understand that men and women work very differently. Our psyche is different. The way we react to things, the way we analyze things, can be different, right, between men and women. And that's why men and women, we complement one another. I would like to think. So yes, it has been challenging. But I think the whole idea is not to focus on the challenge or the obstacle. The whole idea is to focus on yourself and what you can do that is within your ability and within your control. So the only thing in this mad world that you can control is yourself, right? You can't control how someone sees you or someone perceives you, and you spoke about challenges, right? It never ends. I'm 20 years in practice, and until today, there'll be people who will question my abilities. 20 years in, you have got clients because people have this preconceived notion about you. They see you and say, "You're so small, you're so petite, you look so young. Can you be a litigator? Do you think you can be effective in court?" So I've had things like that thrown at my face. I've also had situations where I've lost briefs because we are an all-woman. I run an all-woman law firm, right? So, not anymore. I have one male law associate now. I'm into equality too. So we are trying to balance the numbers in the firm as well, right?
Yeah, so at the front there.
We are encouraging more men to join Ravindran.
That's great.
But the thing is, you will always have challenges. But I feel like in my younger years, when someone said things about me or to my face, it affected me a lot more than it does now. So I suppose with age, you kind of learn how to process it, and you kind of also learn how to know yourself better as you grow older. If you know yourself better in your younger age, good for you, man. You have it figured out. But for me, it took some time. So a lot of self-reflection, a lot of going back to the drawing board and asking yourself, okay, people perceive me in this. Is it correct? If it's not correct, then I'm not going to let it affect me. I'm just going to move forward. I know what my goals are. I also think that don't beat yourself up so much if your goals change, because goals will always change. In your 20s, your goals are different. In your 30s, your goals are different. In your 40s, it will change. But as long as for that moment, if you have small goals and you want to achieve them, work towards achieving those goals, right? And then go with the flow, enjoy the journey, which is so important. Learn about yourself. That's basically it. Your focus needs to be yourself and your community, of course, right? Yeah.
I agree. That's wonderful. And I think focusing on yourself, I think by time, of course, I'm still in that sort of thing, and I totally understand, but it's wonderful hearing your journey. And so, yeah, going with the flow. All right. So
yeah. I think another thing I want to add is we are in a time where everything is on social media. Everything is
Yeah,
about what people see about you, right? So
yeah.
we need to spend more time alone, on our
Mhm.
own, figuring
True.
things out for ourselves, because sometimes the noises outside can really mess around with who you really are.
Yeah.
So you have to take that break out of social media, out of whatever it is, to kind of go inside and figure out what it is that you want for yourself.
Yeah, that's really important as well. Thank you, Sharm. So, today's talk, I feel like, we've had a lot, and we've heard so much, and in this amount of time, it really has inspired many people, including myself. And so, there is a comment from Facebook from Shashila, and she said, "Appreciate the great topic. This topic could give some info for women who wants to succeed in life," and I agree with it. A lot of people, especially like you said, challenges wise, everyone goes through challenges, and sometimes you need to uplift yourself with this, and I think this thing has really uplifted a lot of women, or at least I hope it has.
I just want to add one more thing now, because
Yeah,
of the comment that was made. It's also extremely important to have a tribe of your own, like a
correct.
tribe of supporters, men and women. Have people around you that you trust, that trust you, that will lift you up and will support you. It's extremely important for you to curate your network,
Yeah,
and be very careful with who you spend your time with. Yeah.
yeah. Definitely, Sharm. Thank you. Yes. Yeah, everyone. I hope everyone is there. That's I agree with that. And so there's another question from Facebook, and it said, "How do you balance professional career and volunteering at the same time?"
It's because I enjoy both. I think that's a very good question. I think my volunteer work really helps with my professional work, because it injects creativity into my professional work. So I feel like having a little bit of a difference. The legal industry can be, I mean, the work that I do, the legal work that I do, can be quite complex and heavy, and it's a constant. And then you tend to then hang out with the same people, other lawyers, so your circle then is very limited. But when you start expanding and finding time in even if it's an hour a week, to do something outside of your work itself, you expand your network, you expand your mind, and you allow yourself that time to be creative. You have to find the time. There is no such thing as there's no time. Even if it is 1 hour a week to do volunteer work, please do it. You will see the changes it will bring to your life. So it doesn't have to be like, dive into it, and don't let it affect your professional life, but find some time to do something, a little bit of it.
Thank you, Shar. All right, so we have a few minutes left. So I'm just going to add in, just a few more. Just so, what motivates you, sort of? I think this question you've sort of answered in, but if you wanted to go more depth of, what motivates you to sort of continue in this while reflecting on yourself.
It has actually, I have learned a lot more about myself through the volunteer work that I do. So when we talk about leadership, women in leadership, this is a huge opportunity for women to showcase their leadership abilities. So volunteer work gives you that opportunity, and all of us are leaders in one way or the other, whether it is within our homes, with our children, with our colleagues at work. We are all leaders. But before we become leaders, we need to learn to be followers, right? So it's really being humble and being aware of what's going on around you. And so doing this work allows me that ability to really understand myself. Sitting on a board, the exco of Women's Aid Organization, has been such an amazing experience for me. The new board was we came on board in April, and I don't know personally any of the board members that are sitting in my exco at this point. Until the point we became a board, we became friends. And it has been amazing. We all come from different industries. We all bring different talent strengths to the table. we are vulnerable with one another. We are learning as we go. But what is amazing is I can see that leadership traits and abilities that are coming out through this exco and the vision that we have for the organization. So if you don't allow yourself that opportunity to be creative and to try something that's outside of your comfort zone, you will never grow, and the only constant in life is change. You have to constantly change. You have to be fluid. You have to allow yourself to learn. And the problem that a lot of us have is our ego, and ego comes from fear. You're fearful of something, so you push back. I'm not going to do that because I might look stupid doing it.
No.
And that is fear, or that's ego, right? So you got to deal with it and tell yourself, look, this is life. You live once, right? And so try, explore, do as much as you can with your time as possible. Maximize it.
All right. Thank you, Sharm. And so there's a last question, and that is, how do you think WAO can inspire women to be a leader from? And that's from Facebook as well.
Oh my God. WAO is the place for you to showcase your leadership. People like Yasmin, who are ambassadors, I mean, they take time out of their busy schedules to become members. Please sign up, be members of WAO, get involved with our events, our activities. There are a lot of volunteer activities going on. You can actually assist. WAO is always looking for new talent, new people to come in. Like I said, get in touch with us. We have a website. You can sign up. We have so many programs going on. And this is where you showcase your leadership. You come forward, you step forward, and you be brave, and you say, this is what I want to do. The platforms are available. So, come and share your thoughts and your ideas with us.
Yeah, I agree. So please join WAO. It's an amazing organization. I have been here for more than few years, so I would vouch with what Sharma said. And so our last one that, before this ends, is actually, what's your advice to everyone, really? Just any advice that you would give in being a woman and, leading.
I think there is a general perception that the women agenda is a women's problem, like this whole inequality. So we tend to be exclusive, meaning we don't include. But I feel like we need to start looking at it as an issue that the community needs to look at, men and women. It affects men and women, right? If women are not able to have jobs and create an income for the family, it affects the family, which means it affects the men in the family too. So we need to start understanding that what we are talking about when women's platforms, when we talk about issues being of inclusivity or unconscious bias or pay gap issues, women not being able to come back to the work, domestic violence, sexual harassment, these are not women problems. These are community problems. When rape, for example, so we got to look at it as a problem that all of us face. If women are not allowed, if women don't feel safe walking at 10 p.m. at night in Bangsa, for example, it's a problem not only to women, it's also to men, because then there's a perception that men are predators, right? So we need to look at these things as a whole and not look at it from a biased perspective, and see how best we can work together to make our community a better place.
I agree with that. So yeah, I hope that was a wonderful advice for us to, help everyone and want to make Malaysia better. And that wraps up all our journey, and we finish at 1. But before we end, I'd just like to say thank you so much to everyone. Shall we have maybe one very short photo session? Maybe I think we would have just a very short one where we just smile.
That'd be nice.
Okay, so if anyone wants to turn on their camera, please feel free to do so. If not, it's fine. Okay, so let's take a picture. 1, 2, 3. Great. Okay.
Awesome.
Yeah, thank you so much, Sharm, for your time for today. It has inspired everyone. It has inspired me, and we just really we are so happy to have you here, and we look forward to the journey that you're going to have because it's only the beginning and it seems great. So it's going to be greater.
Thank you.
And we are so grateful to have you. And I am so grateful to have this opportunity to talk to you as well. And I hope to see you soon as well. And I thank everyone for today. I hope everyone has a good lunch and a good day. Please continue to join in the WO Festival talks. Like we have one for tomorrow. We also have another one a few days after. And please be ready on Sunday. Come for the 4-kilometer walk if you'd like. It's 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. So yeah, thank you so much, everyone. This is the 40th anniversary of WAO, and we hope to see all of you soon someday. Bye-bye. Have a
Thank
good day.
you. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.